Now, if we go back and look at the mock-up, you're going to see there's a couple other elements in here stylistically that we got to deal with. First off, okay, you'll see that we have this nice little layout thingy going on here, right? See that little line? That's actually a border, okay? So my border that's in place is going to work nicely in that respect. But I do have some font things that I have to deal with, okay? So first, let's go in and deal with the font items in the first box, okay? So I'm going to go back to my style here. And first I'm going to look at my HTML. So we're talking about main here. We're dealing with main, right? So main has an H2 tag and a paragraph tag. Now, let's deal with the H2 tag first. Okay, so I'm going to go to my style and I'm going to put it right. I want to keep them together, so I'll say main H2, right? And what I'll do is I'm going to say, okay, so let's do the font size. And it doesn't look like it's much bigger in the mock-up, so I'm just going to say 10, I'll do 11. 10 points. Let's do a 10, sorry. Okay. And then I'm going to say, if I remember this correctly, the title here was the font color. Right, so we'll say color, and that was that coral. Right? And then we have, so we want to say text dash transform, FORM, oops, text transform, and I believe the value is capitalized. Yeah, okay. So that's going to get us all of our colors and our capitalization, right? So I'll just do a quick preview of that. Yeah, there you go. Right. Oh, it's not capitalized. Hold on. Oh, wait, maybe it's not capitalized. It's uppercase. Capitalized is just to do the first letter. Uppercase actually does the whole thing. So there you go. Right? Okay, so that's what we got. Now I'm noticing also on main itself, we have to put some padding on here. If you look at the mock-up, you have plenty of padding all around. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to say, let's do, I don't know. I'm going to do on main, we'll say padding, and I'm going to do the 4 value system starting at the top, which will do 25 on top. The right will be 10. The bottom will be 30, and the right will be 30. Right? So let's do a preview of that. Okay, it might break the one on the right, which it did. Okay. So now I'm also going to make the font smaller, right? So we have our font size, and I'm going to guess that it's about 10 points. Let's do 9. And I'll say color, and it looks like there's like a gray going on there. So maybe I'll do dark gray. Okay, and then I'll try line height. And we're going to say 14 points. All right, and let's just see how that's looking. Okay, I think the line height needs to be a bit higher. Right, so I'll say let's make the line height be 18. That's looking quite similar. All right. And then we just got to play with the width. So let's see. So if I have in my padding, you got to remember when you're talking about the overall width of an object, you have to take into account the margins in the padding and any borders. So if I have 10 on the left, on the right, and 30 on the left, I have to subtract 40 from this main width, right? So that would be 470, maybe? And that looks pretty similar to our mock-up, right? So now at this point, I'm ready to deal with over here, right? So I'll go over there and start that. So now let's look at the HTML to see what we're styling. So I have my aside, and then I have an H2, and I have a paragraph, and then I have a link to deal with, right? And then these will repeat, okay? So let's deal with that first. So looking at the mock-up, okay, so this isn't capitalized, a little smaller, right? So on that H2, I'm going to say, so I'll go here to my aside, and right before the closing footer, I'll say aside H2, right? And I'm going to say font size, and I'm going to say, let's try 9 points, see how we feel about it. And then I'll say color, and that would be coral. And then I'll do, I think that's really it. I don't think I need much more, right? And then I have to do, in general, on a side, I have to put some font stuff in. So we'll say font size, and we'll make the font size be, I'll match it, see how that works out. Do the color. So I'll try dim gray. And let's try that and see how that works out. Okay, not bad. We got to deal with the padding. So let's look at the mock-up. Okay, so this one has to be a little higher. Okay, I think I could go with this. So let's try to do padding. And we'll start from the top. The top has to be higher than the previous one. So I just want to look at what I put on main. Get a refresher here. So I did 25 on main. So I'm going to do 35 for aside. And then I'll do 5 pixels on the right. And the bottom should probably be about 25 pixels. And then maybe 5 pixels again. Okay, so let's give that a preview. I think I need to push the right and the left a little bit. So let's make that 15 on both of those. Okay, it kind of broke the width. Maybe the line height a little bit more. So let's say line height. And we'll say 14 points. Alright, it's looking pretty good. Maybe I need to, I think I'm going to go 20 on that. 20 on the left and the right. Okay, so now I got to say, okay, on the left and the right I added 20 on each. That means I got to, and that's 40. So that means on the master width I got to subtract 40. So that would be what? I don't know. Let's just try 200. I did have some extra space on that. So I'm wondering if I have to subtract the equal amount. Oh, I'm just a little off. Okay, so let's try to do 195. We'll do a save on that. And that doesn't look too bad, guys. That's looking pretty good. Okay. So now the last thing I need to do here is I think I need to go in and sort of deal with the borders, right? So I already have my borders in place here. So let's look at our mock-up real quick. So we have a line right here that we have to deal with, right? And then we have a line on the bottom, okay? So now I'm going to put this line, this vertical line, on main, okay? So let's take off the border we have now. So it's going to be solid, and I'll make it a dim gray, and it's going to be border left. Oh, right. Sorry about that. Okay. So let's see how that looks. Oh, I put it in the wrong place. It's not that border. Not on the side. It's on main. Yeah, you gotta watch what you're doing, right? So here's main, right? So we'll make that border dash left. And I'll make it 1 pixel solid and dim gray. So I will do a save and a refresh on that. Okay, I'm not seeing it there. So let me see what's going wrong here. So I have main, border left. Maybe it's not picking up my color. Right, where did I get that color from? Dark gray. Let's try. Let's try dark gray. Oh, I see why. It's border right, not left. There we go. Okay, so now I have my border here. Okay, but I do notice that I have to do, in order to get this to be right, I need to add a margin on the top. So by adding that, okay, so you see that's my point. You see how the margin has to be moved a little bit off the top there. So I got to add a margin on the top and the bottom. Okay. All right, so there's my line there. Now the only thing left I have to do is the footer. Well, I got to do these links here. So let's get rid of those now. Okay. So I'm going to go onto a side, and we're going to have a side. Do color, and we did Dodger blue, and then we did put the hover on it, and we said background color, And we did okay. Okay, so that gives us our link back here. Beautiful and beautiful. Okay, good. Now just a few more things we got to clean up here. The footer is the last real item we have to do. So I already have the footer with the clear in there. So probably what I got to do is put some padding on here, right? So we can kind of get some spacing going. And what I'll do is I'll say padding left. I'll do top first. So we'll do 15 pixels at the top, 20 pixels on the right, 15 pixels on the bottom, and 30 pixels on the left. Actually, it should be the same as there. Oh, it was 30. Right, and then I'll say font size, I don't know, 12 points. Color, we'll do dark gray. And border, top, 1 pixel, solid, and dark gray. Let's see how that looks. Not too shabby. Maybe the gap here is a little big. So probably what I'd have to do here under my padding is do 10 to match it. Oh, I see why. So it looks like a main. I put a margin on the bottom of 10 pixels. So maybe what I want to do is take that out. So let's see, top. I'm just going to put 0 and see how that works out. Just trying to clean up some of the spacing. I'm thinking 10 points might be a little better for the font as well. So it's either on main or side, right? So let's see, a side I have 25. There you go. The side had a nice healthy margin on it. Okay. Now there's a couple little things I see here that I'd want to fix. So for example, I realized I forgot to put the color on here for the font. So I'd probably want to go up here to the nav section, if I could find it. And nav anchor, I didn't put a color on there, so I'd probably want to put color, and I'd say, what do we do? Dodge, blue. Yeah, just to match it all up, right? But in essence, there you go. So, like I said, this is a pretty robust layout based on a lot of different stuff we've been talking about throughout the semester. And if you can do this layout effectively, then pretty much you're ready at this point to start using HTML and CSS to control page layout in a web browser. So I hope you got something out of this exercise and the course. If you choose to actually do your own layout, or you could do both. If you want to do your own design and layout, you'll get extra credit for that if you're behind on one of the other assignments. And yeah, like I said, at this point, if you understand what we've done here, you've pretty much come close to getting a good understanding of how to use CSS and HTML in web design. Thank you very much.